quick show of hands, who feels like their feet are ready to drop off? Yeah. Well, don't worry. For the next 20 minutes, you can rest your feet and rest your weary heads and listen to a little bit about how LucidLink and Moments Lab are discussing how AI and real-time storage collaboration are transforming workflows together. We're using the Brute coverage of our Cannes Film Festival as our case study today as well. I'm sure you all know that now more than ever, social media reach and content production requires faster turnaround times. The ability to produce even more content as quickly as possible on different platforms across different formats for diverse audiences. And the challenge we all face is to maintain both the quality of output as well as that urgency for publication. My name is Imogen Kimberley, but you can call me Imi, and I've been lucky enough to work at both Moments Lab and now LucidLink. So I'm joined by Fred Petitpont, the CTO and co-founder of Moments Lab, and Richard Yu, our Chief Product Officer here at LucidLink. So a little bit about us as companies. LucidLink is a real-time storage collaboration platform which enables remote teams from anywhere in the world to access their content in the cloud without any requirement to download their files in order to work on them. This means vast efficiencies in turnaround time and also creative output. Meanwhile, Moments Lab is a multimodal real-time intelligence layer for indexing, searching for, and discovering media shot by shot, ensuring all moments within Live and Archive is cataloged and searchable immediately. LucidLink and Moments Lab have been working together since 2023 by supporting these high-pressure, high-volume workflows, such as the Cannes Festival brought to us by Brute, by enabling the live and near-live content to be discovered, cut, produced, and shared as quickly as possible, maximizing the valuable media. We've mentioned this workflow with Brute, and we're about to look at a quick case study for from the customer ourselves, highlighting the workflow. Together, Moments Lab and LucidLink have enabled Brute to achieve over 600 million views across their global social platforms and achieve a 90% year-on-year increase of views. So, onto the video.
Brute became the official partner of the Cannes Film Festival 3 years ago and also the producer of the festival's television. We wanted to capture live red carpet moments, interviews and masterclasses and publish highlights or key moments from Cannes as fast as possible. That's why we partnered with Moments Lab and LucidLink in order to capture, index, search and edit fastest.
My mission for the Cannes Film Festival is to retrieve all the images, so red carpets, photo calls, press conferences. The journalist will ask me for the exact sequence he needs. Then I will go to Moments Lab and directly set an in point and an out point to extract the clip and immediately send it via LucidLink so they have it directly in his editing suite. I get the footage, I do the cutting, I send it for editing, and that's it.
Having this integrated workflow allows us to accelerate all of these steps and go live in a fraction of what was previously possible. The files are therefore quickly available on LucidLink and then ingested into Premiere Pro so that our journalists or editors can edit the desired content. The video data is instantly usable in Premiere Pro anywhere without downloading or relinking media, saving massive amounts of time.
We could upload faster on our social media, so the community managers could monitor the streams directly on Moments Lab, and based on the sequences that were interesting, retrieve the images directly and then edit them on their side.
With Moments Lab and LucidLink, we have found the perfect combination to minimize the production time of our digital content in Cannes.
The time savings we achieved in the processes allowed us to produce and publish more content, and as a result, Brute achieved record-breaking views of its Cannes Film Festival coverage. Previously, we covered the red carpet a bit less because of the production time it required. But now we can do it much more easily thanks to Moments Lab and LucidLink.
Great. Well, we have about 15 minutes to cover off some questions. I'm going to have to keep you guys herded well, because I remember last time this took a bit of a tangent. But I was going to ask you, Fred, to start off by just walking us through this quick workflow diagram, which just sort of covers a few more intricacies of what we've just seen on screen.
So yeah, I mean, the key thing to understand is like you do have, it's really like a live stream that is going on through all the arrows that you can see here. So you do have the different live streams that are basically plugged to the Moments Lab Media Hub, and you can see your content appearing, AI indexing kicking off. And then there is a Moments, a LucidLink 5-space gateway, we call that a gateway here, where you basically have the content that is being written as a drawing file. And when you open Premiere, you do have that panel, where the Moments Lab panel, and if you drag and drop an item, you can literally see the file growing on the timeline. It's kind of crazy because you can seize the momentum. I mean, it's all about that. I mean, Brut, they need to publish as fast as possible to seize the momentum and get the audience. And if you're trapped with a live stream you can't clip, you can't detect, or like 4, 5, 6 live stream, I mean, you need to watch those, you need to clip those, you need to export, and if you need to download, upload, re-upload, I mean, you're, at the end of the day, losing so much time that you're just publishing 1, 2 stories across the hour where they would need to publish way more. So that's why it's going, I mean, so fast, and both the technology together are enabling that kind of seamless access to the content.
Yeah, I think I remember when I was at Moments Lab, you said that for every 1 hour of content, it takes about 8 hours just to index it manually.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's the feedback we do have is like if you take the, I mean, for a media logger doing that manually, it's roughly 8 hours per hour. So, and it goes without saying that you need like transcription, you need like to detect who is talking. Moments Lab is kind of splitting every shots, regrouping into sequence, looking at face detection, and then describing what's happening. Okay, this is Tom Cruise giving an interview and or holding a guitar with that person here, and you can basically read your content. You can search your content, and then just once you have your moment, since you do have the LucidLink technology that is here, you just drag and drop it, and you don't need to know where your file is. It's just like magic, you know?
Yep.
It's there, it's ready. So Rich, can you let us know a little bit about how LucidLink acts as the always-on data layer that fits into virtually any tech stack?
Yeah, so first of all, LucidLink is the cloud-native storage collaboration platform. And as Fred was explaining, what we do and the magic about LucidLink is that we make both uploading and, we don't like the word downloading, but the access to content and to assets incredibly fast. Right. So Fred used the term growing files earlier. What happens as an asset or a piece of footage is actually shot and being brought into the workflow, you can start working with that piece of asset even before it's been fully uploaded into your cloud storage. So I think that those unique properties and those sort of specifics around our capabilities and technologies really makes us uniquely suited for these types of live or near live type of production processes. And of course, you know, with Moments Lab, we got a lot more interesting stuff going on, which hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about.
Absolutely. Don't jump ahead, though. So I think we've covered a little bit about essentially the sort of metadata that we're capturing. But Fred, would you like to expand a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So describing video is not easy. I mean, as a human, it's like just byte 0 and 1s that you need to watch to describe. So, well, the system is based on what we call a content-aware algorithm that is going to split content into shots. The shot is like the smallest element you would have in a content. It could be a cut. It could be a strong camera movement. And basically, we do that very fast. And to give you an idea, humans of 2025 are roughly using 600 shots per hour to tell a story. And the more we go on, the more we tend to use more shots, more cut. If you look on TikTok, you need to have something happening every 2 seconds if you don't want to lose your audience. It's crazy. So it means like when you're building a content, you need a lot of things happening on the content. So we split into shots. We look at like, is there any known landmarks or people that you know, or brands or logos? And we're using all those modalities to generate a vector embedding, a textual description, and we regroup those into shots. So that's why you do have, when you open the Moments Lab UI or read it through the API, in your content, and every time code, okay, this is this moment with Tom Cruise and his guitar playing that song. And then this is this moment with that other actors together. It means like if you want to find Tom Cruise with a guitar or Tom Cruise talking about that or an emotional moment that is happening, well, that's how, thanks to all those metadata, that you can enable that, whether it's transcript, whether it's face recognition, whether it's like just captioning.
Yeah. If I might add to that, in addition to this sort of, I'll call it very attention deficit way that we consume content and media nowadays, which requires a capability like Moments Lab to really, for editors and creators to cut those cuts into the final product. There's also this notion of there's so much footage being created, captured, generated, right? So without some sort of a very, very smart tool like Moments Lab, and without this really fast access to the content, it's almost impossible to manage this, right? It's almost impossible to make those 2-second cuts so that the editor can tell the right story with the specific moments. So I think it's really exciting what we're doing here. I think the other part I'll mention about what LucidLink does is that it's not just about what LucidLink and Moments Lab are doing together, but everybody in your downstream post-production process also with LucidLink can instantaneously have access to those moments, to those cuts, to those clips, so that they can work in their editor and basically put together the final product easily, seamlessly, and also from anywhere in the world, right? That's the beauty of cloud storage. And that's cloud storage with LucidLink on top. We make that possible. Near instantaneous access to a single source of truth in the cloud from anywhere and everywhere.
So just expanding on that a bit more, obviously we're looking at this very much from Brute's perspective and covering the Cannes Film Festival, endless amounts of content, and obviously maximizing on the value of that content as soon as it's produced. Do you think that we can see similar benefit from things like sports or news production as well?
100%. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, all people from the industry are sharing the same kind of pain point. You need to produce as fast as possible, but you need to produce also good quality. So you got a choice. I mean, most of the time when we're talking about innovation and it's about productivity and efficiency and say, okay, yeah, of course, I mean, it's go way faster because the content will be found faster because you don't have to download it from a S3 or for LTO or for anything, and it's way faster. And you can build faster, but the true thing is also enabling something that is being more creative and spending more time crafting your stories or crafting different stories or different angles. If you think about Davos, for the Davos, if you think about like the companies that are covering Davos, like Bloomberg, for example, or others, I mean, at the moment when they're going there, they might go there with 3-4 journalists, and those journalists are asked to do a lot. And you do have maybe 40 panels over 3 days, and you don't have time to cover everything. There is no way you can do that. And if Bill Gates is talking at different, panel over the 2-3 days, at the end of the panel, as a journalist, you want to kind of link the previous panel, what he said, and what he said even before. But at the moment, most of the time, we are just doing summary because we don't have time to do more. So back to your question, yeah, whether it's news like Davos, or sports, like a football game where you want to publish as fast as possible, I'll be very of the rights because sometimes you need to have the rights to publish as fast as possible too. Or entertainment, like this one, that's everywhere when you need to be as fast as possible. And if I go even further, it's more technical, but when you are doing AI inferences, we're thinking a lot about GPU, but we tend to forget that most of the time you're also bound by the support where you're reading the file. So if you are reading the file and doing AI inference on a hard drive, it's going to be very slow. SSD is going to be a bit faster. If you read it, for example, from LucidLink, that has a lot of caching mechanism, it's going to be way faster. And at the end, your AI inference will be cheaper because your access time will be faster. So even outside this industry, there are other use cases that can be explored.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And to a specific question about live events in sports, right? There's also this sort of ubiquity of hardware technologies that are just creating even a bigger challenge for us. So 360 cameras at sporting events or live events, right? Capturing just so much more raw footage. Mm-hmm. And how do you actually put together a highlight reel or even a replay of a certain shot or goal or whatever it is? There's just so much raw content being generated all the time. Different use case in, I'll call it, the news and reporting space, right? Everybody who has a phone now is essentially a creator, right? You can capture data, but how do you actually then tell the story, like you said? So I think this combination of really, really fast, both upload and access to all this content and this incredible AI-driven technology to really then figure out, well, where are my right moments to help me tell that story, tell the narrative, whether it's instant replay or the latest news, breaking news. I think that's where there's this sort of really powerful future coming.
If you think about like NBA games, it's like 40 camera angles.
Right.
4K, maybe 8K now, I'm not sure. I mean, that's...
People want to see the sweat dripping down, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes with this as well, and we found this with Archive, particularly when I was at Moments Lab, and now a lot more with LucidLink, is it's not just about the story on the pitch or even straight there in the news. It's the sort of little side moments that you can build up those really authentic moments and really discover what you have and make use of it. So yeah, it's a really wonderful ability that we have now, is telling the story aside from the story.
Yeah, we discussed that the other day, but there is something in France, when people are talking about inflation, on every newscast, they are using the same shot. Someone taking a baguette. And it's the price of the baguette that it's true story, by the way. You know maybe about the Big Mac index. In France, we got the baguette index. And it's like the price of the baguette is defining inflation. And that's like how people relate to the price. And like any time in any newscast, when we talk about inflation, we are in a boulangerie and someone taking a baguette, and it's always the same shot because this is the only one that they can find, really. So when about creativity, I'm not talking about baguette and being creative around baguette, right? It's just, this is a typical example where you want to be a bit more diverse, find something different. We have the same in the Middle East when they're talking about prices, they're saying oil derricks. And we had that feedback from one of the customers saying, well, I just have one index and one on my drive, so I'm always using the same one. So like stories tend to look alike from one month to another. If you have like your self-served archive indexed, you can prompt it, you can find it, you can retrieve it super fast. Right. You're gonna boost the creativity of your content.
Yeah, I know, Fred, that you mentioned this sort of baguette and this, kind of almost B-roll footage of the baguette, right? But I think there's something there that we're working on together, which is people have tons of new footage coming in, new content, new assets, but they also have petabytes, tens of petabytes of existing assets, right? So to tell the story, or for any editor or any person who's creating an end product, finished product, to tell the story, it almost seems like we need to have the ability to access both types of content and assets equally using the same tools, right? The same sort of indexing and search and really smart AI-driven metadata generation. So you can just say, hey, I want to show this, whatever it was, Tom Cruise, red carpet, playing a guitar, wearing a black suit, kind of a thing. And we can go through all the available assets, both current and past, to put that together. I know we're working on something together to solve we've solved kind of the live part, and we're working together to solve the kind of the archival existing asset part. And that's what also is really exciting for me. Yeah. You get this hybrid mode almost. Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit more about any API announcements or new features?
Thank you. I mean, it's a little bit of what I was just leading to. We're working together to figure out how you use LucidLink in conjunction with existing assets stored in the cloud, S3 buckets that are already hydrated with, like I said, petabytes of your data, and then using LucidLink to access that data very quickly and allowing an AI like Moments Lab to quickly go through it, index it, create all the great metadata, multimodal, and without having to copy and move those archives, right? So that's kind of the power here that I really see coming in the future.
It's a bit the same for us, because getting along, the big new thing we've just announced is our new discovery agent, meaning that you can now prompt your archive and use all of that metadata, tell, okay, I want to build a story about that, and that. I want to build a story about Tom Cruise playing the guitar across festivals. And it will suggest a narrative. It will suggest the moment you can use the most engaging one. And again, looking at like the value proposition from LucidLink, you see that moment, you put it here, you can download it right away because we know where it is, and it's super fast to get to your NLE or from your Premiere panel right on your timeline.
Right. It's almost like there's a future world. Maybe, if you talk about deploying an agent, right? And the agent can be prompted or even pre-configured to go after a specific narrative, right? Look for specific moments, and those moments are coming in live, perhaps, or the moments exist, and then the agent can go and find all those pieces and then present it. I don't want to say we're going to make the person on the video's job obsolete, but that person will be able to focus on actually making the final product versus going and finding all the cuts, right? And this can all happen in real time in a very, very agentic way. I think that's where it's really exciting, and 100%. I think we're working together to make that happen. Yeah.
100%.
Well, speaking of efficiencies, because I think we're about to get kicked off stage, in 30 seconds or less, what do you see happening with AI and real-time storage evolving together over the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I think I might have jumped the gun on the answer to your question. I think it's really that direction where you have agents running, and it could be simultaneously doing work on 6 different products or 10 different products, and just doing the work in the background, right? And with a tool like Moments Lab, and just presenting, this portfolio of assets, right? And maybe there's someday, I don't know, Fred, what do you think about this? But someday you can almost even prompt it to say, okay, start cutting it together in this way, and then give me 3 different versions of possible final cuts for me to choose from, right? I really think that is in the realistic future that we can see.
Yeah, and we don't want access to files or to the data to be a blocker from creativity.
Exactly.
It's it comes whether it is in your value prop at LucidLink, where it's at ours, where it's about finding exactly those moments you need.
That's right. Yeah. We want to make all that possible and just make the technology transparent, right? Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm afraid that is all we have time for the moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.